Is my sound coming through? Hello, hello, hello. Yes. All right, we're good. We're live. It's Tuesday. The start of the week is a Tuesday. Yesterday was a holiday. We're back. We're back trading. It feels good to kind of jump back in. I was excited to trade this morning. And right now I'm just watching AMC, which is having this after hours move. And I don't know. It does seem like, most of the big moves that it's made have happened in the extended hours sessions, which isn't really that surprising. There's less volume in those extended hours sessions, and in addition, we saw that was the case for GameStop and AMC way back in January when they had the initial squeezes. A lot of the action did take place in after hours, and we just saw a move through $34 and. I honestly thought that after last Friday, this name was going to be, on the kind of backside of the move, but we saw that it put a green daily candle in today, up another 22%, and so it is kind of back in the game and kind of back, remaining on watch. There's still clearly a lot of volume and momentum. This thing is moving, so if you are a day trader, I would definitely keep your eye on AMC. This thing is going to be great to trade in. Evidently, it was my first trade of the day. When I saw it in pre-market and saw that it was still very strong, you can see what it did in pre-market again in these extended hours sessions, having great moves here from $27.50 to $32. It just went up. It was a kind of slow churn, but slow and steady, and a nice move there in the pre-market. So when I saw that at this point, and kind of a big green candle here and then right back down, it did look kind of top heavy and needing a pullback, so that's what I expected off the open. So I was patient for that first minute. This first minute kind of moving all around, and I didn't get long. I wanted to wait and wait and wait. I was patient on it. Then here I got long at 30.83 in front of VWAP. I wanted to get long. It came down to 30.45, popped back up. I was in the money on it briefly, but I didn't take out. I wanted kind of a bigger move up. But this would need a bigger pullback, which does kind of make sense. So it would come down further down through $30 before it got its first bounce back up through $30.50. But ultimately it would come. So I added here at 29.9 right here, and then it came back up, and again I was in the money on it. And up nicely, but then it came all the way back down, and then I added again on it at 29.04 again. So I added 3 portions of 100 shares. So now I had 300 shares on AMC, which in the early morning when it's trading a lot of volume, a lot of volatility, and having this big range in the morning, 300 shares can be a little bit scary. So ultimately I did get chopped out of it. It came back up to VWAP 30.34 here, and at that point I was just barely green on the trade, or not barely. I was probably up a little bit there, but unfortunately I got out for break even here below $30. My break even was $29.92. And so I got out, and then a few minutes later it ripped to $31.50, which would have I would have been up very nicely if I had stayed in the trade. But I just thought that I have a lot of risk, and I don't want to go red on the day super early, and considering too the daily chart and how yesterday it really had this big red reversal candle. So now the fact that it's gapping up on the one hand looks strong, but the daily chart kind of looks a little messed up now. And I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of have this big move down again, which we did kind of have in that morning period. In the afternoon, it popped back up. It had this really nice move here from 31.50 to 33.50, but then got slammed right back down on a headline that people are selling their shares or whatever. So here I traded it. I went long in this consolidation. I was looking for, just kind of the uptrend to continue, and I was looking for the break higher, but we didn't get that. We moved lower. So, not every trade works out. But so I cut this position here, and then I jumped back in as it was looking like here it wanted to maybe make a new high. So I bought on this pullback so that it could come through this level, but Again, that didn't happen. We resolved lower there, and then this time I kind of held on to my position and was able to get out in the green on these bits here. So 300 shares I went long, and then I got out 100 for break even, and then a couple minutes later we got this really nice move here, but then we slammed right back down. So I was still holding 100 shares, and when I got the chance to kind of I saw the profit that was in front of me, and I thought, all right, that's good enough for me, and so I got out. It did move a little bit higher, but that's okay. And now, I mean, what it's doing in after hours now is much bigger than all this choppiness and this consolidation. So okay, so let's move on. OEG, I had this trade in the morning. This was super quick, but very quick. $170. I'll take that. It was right here. Just the play here is just looking for that move through VWAP and looking for kind of this curl to manifest a little bit more. So we have this move, and it tried to move up in the morning, slammed way back down, but now it's retraced a lot, and now it's having signs that it's wanting to curl. So I got back in so that I could realize kind of this curl, and even if it's going to fail at VWAP and move lower, which it did, that's okay. All I need was a little scalp. So that's what I was going for, just a little scalp there, and it ended up working. And yeah, a lot of times you can just get the feel of it in the price action. You just watch the price action, and you can understand. You're like, I want to buy this. I just feel it. Obviously, you don't want to be trading off feeling. It's kind of a joke, but no, I thought this one was going to have a decent chance here, and I got out 571 right here toward the top of this candle, which is great. It moved lower, but then moved higher, and this one today kind of, look at all this action. This is so crazy. I mean, you've got so many big rejections. Big red candle here, big red candle here, big red here, big red here, big red here, here. So many times it rejected, and so it can be really tough to trade those ones in the small caps, and that's why I typically avoid the small caps. But what's so funny and ironic about it is that in the end it had this move to the upside. So this was all, I can imagine that there were traders that through this entire kind of box here just lost so much money. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then finally you get the afternoon move. It's just consolidation. You got to be able to zoom out and understand that it's just consolidation. The whole thing, everything that happens minute to minute is just part of a larger move that is more easy to see on larger time frames. So while the 1 minute is helpful for quick scalps like this, if you're trying to soak out the whole move, you really need to zoom out and understand that the level is here, and there's kind of a wedge being formed, and when it breaks that, that's where the move's going to be. So anyway, it's all about the bigger pattern. Okay, so let's continue. Speaking of the bigger pattern, I had a trade on plug today. This one was really not work. This one was not working for me. I was big red on this one at one point down here, but again, I was lucky that I actually had pretty good ads on it. So my first long was 500 shares. It worked out. I was up $100 on it, but then it instantly came back down, and I understood that this is going to make a new low, and I'm okay with that. I think there's still a lot of the day left, and I'm looking for a reversal in the NASDAQ, and if we get that, then I'm going to feel a lot better about this trade. And what's funny is, if you look at the 5-minute chart, what I kind of wanted to happen did happen. I mean, we got a big kind of recovery higher that I just didn't really soak out all of that. But anyway, I added here, and then as it was coming down, making new lows again and again, I was patient to add again. But here I added another 500 shares at $29.90, a really good add there. Again, bringing my cost basis down, So after these three adds, my cost basis was 30. What was it? 30.18, I think it was. I think it was 30.18. I can't remember. Anyway, so then it finally was kind of making that first higher high, and that's what you want to see, right? Is when a stock is clearly downtrending. I talk about this all the time. It's very, very simple in that a stock is downtrending, meaning it's making lower lows and lower highs, okay? Then here we've got, well, it didn't really make a fresh low. So now what are we looking for? Well, now we're looking for the first higher high. Here it comes up. Here's a plateau, little kind of bull flag there. And then wham, move up here, and this is the first higher high above this spot. That's where I'm like, okay, things are starting to change, and of course anything can happen. It can still move lower, but this is the first sign that on at least a 1 minute basis we're getting some kind of shift in the tide. So anyway, that's where I took my first profit there at 30.26. Then, this is all sideways action right here. And then finally we get kind of that move higher, nice gradual move higher, taking 200 off here, consolidation. Now move up into VWAP, taking a bunch of profit into VWAP, because at this point I'm thinking, there is a decent chance here that, and this looked weak in here. A lot of this action looked weak to me. And so there's always that chance that even though now, like I said, there's a shift in that tide, that doesn't mean that we're not going to ultimately fail back down to the lows, and that's entirely possible as well. So you have to be conscious of the options. So unfortunately, as this did start to come back down, I did get out of it. I got out my last 500 shares, which would be a third of my total position. And it'd be a $200 trade. I was like, well, I'm happy with that, so I'm gonna call it there and be happy with that. And as you can see, we got that reversal in the NASDAQ, and a nice move up past $31, which, whatever, dude. It would have been a really nice trade if I just kept all the shares on. Wow, it's so many times, I have these trades where I would have made a lot of money if I just held it, right? And it's about believing in yourself, believing in your own bias. My bias on this was that it could recover throughout the day. That's what I was looking for. So even though it was coming down here, I thought that's okay. I'm looking for this recovery upside. And we got that. I just got chopped out of it. And so it is kind of encouraging to feel like, okay, my analysis on it was good. I feel like I had the right idea. Gravitating toward this 200 moving average on the daily chart, right? If you can confirm that your bias looks good on all time frames, that's really where a bias comes into play, right? That's how you form one in the first place. Like, your analysis comes first, the trade comes second, right? You don't want to take a trade and then come up with reasons why it should or shouldn't work in your favor. Or at least if you are in a trade, that's the best way to monitor it, is when are things starting to change, right? So if you're in a trade like I was here, where the stock's clearly just moving down, right? You need to start to monitor, when are things starting to change? Well, it's like I said, we get kind of that first hint of like, well, that's not really a lower low. Oop, okay, back upside. Now let's see if we can make the first higher high. This is a higher high than the high that was made right here. That's the first sign of a change in direction. And that's where I had the confidence to stay in. Where I didn't have the confidence to stay in was where this was a lot of consolidation, low volume on these candles, came into VWAP here, backed off, and then here I really wanted to see a curl back up and test and break through. But, I was too strict on it. It needed just a little bit more pullback. But as you can see, it's the same darn thing. Look right here, guys. Now we're getting higher highs, right? This is all just consolidation. Then a break higher. This is a higher high. This is a higher high. But now, here's the pivot low, and now we're coming down and making a lower low. So this is all very specific, and you don't need to trade like this, because this is a 1 minute chart, and this is a very strict way to trade. But it's good to be strict when you're not super comfortable with the trade, right? You look for small changes in the pattern. This is a small change in the pattern. This is a slightly lower low than what we held right here. And so when that started to manifest, I got out as I was anticipating the break of this support. And anyway, it's as simple as that. And I also recognize too that really at the end of the day, plug, not really the best one to trade today. Not really the best trade today. So I think there was a little bit going on of like, well, I kind of want to get out of this trade, if not only just for the sake of, I want my capital available to possibly trade something else. But as it turned out, after this trade, I still made $200 on the trade. Still a great trade. And that's the beauty of averaging down. This buy here really kind of saved me. But that's the beauty of averaging down, and yeah, just freeing up capital, looking for something else to trade. Instantly, my eyes flip back over to AMC, and that's kind of where I did some of the trading in here in the afternoon, where all of this was kind of, ultimately kind of all for naught. Here I lost money on this. And then here I made money, but ultimately between the two I made like $50, which you see here. And what we're seeing on it now is, what we're seeing on it now is that it is going to be in play for tomorrow. That's what I see on it now. It's tempting to say, well, I see on it now that it's really strong and I want to jump in, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, that would be a stupid decision. But again, we're seeing repeatedly that GameStop, AMC, from January to now, it's the same old story. The moves are happening in after hours, and there's a reason for that. I don't have all the answers, but what I can say is that it's very simple. In extended hours, you don't have market orders coming through. The volume's a lot lower, the spreads are a lot bigger, stocks can move a lot more because of that. And so yeah, that's, I guess, in part why you're seeing some of the volatility we're seeing here. Okay, so other than that, that's it. I had 3 trades today: AMC, OEG, and Plug. And I'm excited to trade tomorrow. Green day today, new all-time high in my day trading. I like being in that space where every day I'm making all-time highs. That's the ideal, and today is one of those days. And hopefully tomorrow, as long as I'm green, it'll be a new high for me. So that's great. And yeah, guys, if you find these recaps helpful, it means a lot to me if you hit the like button, because that lets me know, hey, this was helpful for me and I enjoyed it, and sends a very clear message. And other than that, I hope you guys are trading well, staying green. Subscribe. I have I do these recaps every single day. I've got a whole slew of them. I think they're pretty helpful, and I've also got a Discord server that you can join. The link is in the description. And yeah, that's it, guys. Have a good rest of your day, and stay green, stay healthy. See you tomorrow.